What's going on, guys? Coach Juan here, and I am here because I want to start doing some more YouTube videos. I want to do some more long form content so you guys can get to know me a little bit better, but also just so I can provide some more value for you guys. So I was thinking, what should I start with? And I thought, well, perfect video to start with is probably the story, the Fit4Flight story, where the business came from, who am I, what exactly it is that I do, why should you even listen to me? What is it about me that makes me so special? By the way, guys, I don't think I'm special. I just think I've put in a lot of work and dedicated my life entirely to helping pilots. So, how did we get here? Story time. I'm going to tell you guys some background about me, how I got into the business, how I started my business, and where we're at right now, what kind of vision we have for the business, and where we plan on taking it. So, I went to school for architecture. So, I was actually in the construction field. And I've always been a creator at heart. But ever since I was like a little kid, I would always love playing with Legos and building stuff. And I always loved this sort of stuff. And I think that's why I decided to go down that route. I actually originally wanted to develop video games. That was my original thing that I wanted to do. And then I took a class and they showed us coding. And I was like, I don't want to code. That sounds too hard. But I still like the 3D design aspect of it. So I decided to go into the construction field, more the architecture side of things. And so went to school, got my bachelor's, got my office job, and I thought, yes, I made it. This is the American dream. This is success. This is it. I did it. I worked there for about, I want to say about a year and a half before I started to realize I didn't really want to work in an office. I didn't really want to sit there every day, have to report to somebody, stare at a screen all day. And so I started to think, okay, well, what can I do to kind of escape this 9 to 5 hamster wheel? And I thought, well, I could probably start a business. And it was during this time in my life where I was actually following a coach who helped other coaches build businesses. I actually knew in the back of my mind, okay, I probably need some help. I probably need some guidance. I don't really know what I'm doing. I've never built a business before, but something was holding me back from actually asking for help. Also, at this point in my life, I'd never had coaching or mentorship or anything like that. So I didn't necessarily see the value in it. I thought, I mean, what can they show me that I can't find online, right? So I thought I can do this on my own. So I went on Google and I was like, okay, how to start a business. And I always tell my clients, or when I'm on a call with somebody, it's just like fitness. Whenever I'm telling this story, I say it's just like fitness. You can go on Google and you can find any meal plan, any workout routine, whatever it is that you're looking for, you can find it online. The problem is that there's too much information. It's information overload. You don't know what specifically is going to work for you. Also, pre-written things online aren't taking into account your specific schedule, your specific preferences, your specific goals. Like, they're not taking into account a lot of things. So while you can get some quick results, what you really want is something sustainable, something that you're going to do long term, something that you're gonna be able to actually stick to. So I start trying to figure things out on my own, and I start doing like these projects. I start to realize these challenges would come up, and I'm like, well, I don't know how to solve this. Let me try this instead. Let me try SEO. Let me try dropshipping. And because these challenges would come up and I didn't know what to solve, so I would just try the next thing and try this and try that. And I had all these different projects that I was working on. About 6 months passed, guys, and I get to a point where I realize, man, I've been putting in all this effort and I have nothing to show for it. I don't have a business. I'm not making money. Nothing has really taken off. And so I get to a point where I'm like, okay, let me put my ego aside. Let me hire a coach. Let me hire a mentor. And let me see where I can take this. Obviously, I was skeptical, especially with a business coach. He was asking for a lot of money I didn't really have at the time. So I was overextending myself to do this. But I said, screw it, let's see what happens. Hired a coach. Instantly, everything changed. Because now I had a step-by-step structure. Now I had a roadmap. Now I had somebody there by my side to answer my specific questions. Now I had somebody that had already achieved what I was trying to achieve. Now I had a community of people also on the same journey. And what I realized looking back at it is, wow, what he provided for me is exactly what I'm providing for my clients now. And this is why I see so much value in what I bring, because I understand it firsthand. I understand how much value that can actually bring to you when you actually have an expert walking you through the process, personalizing a system for you and actually helping you build out what you're trying to build out. I always use the analogy whenever I'm on calls telling this story that imagine you're going on a hike and you're like, okay, I'm trying to get to the top of that mountain. You get to a point in that trail where it breaks off into 10 different trails. There's no signs anywhere, so you're like, let me try this trail. And you're like, oh man, that's the wrong trail. Let me go back. Let me try a different trail. Let me try this one. Oh, this is the wrong trail. Let me go back. You might even be on the right trail, but think, this looks like the wrong trail. Let me go back. Let me try a different trail, right? And what's going to happen? You're going to get discouraged. You might even be like, dude, it's getting dark. I need to go back home. I'm not even going to get to the top of the mountain, right? When you're with a coach, when you're with a mentor, when you're with an actual expert, in this instance, a guide, they can be like, hey, I know there's all these different trails, but we're taking that trail. That trail is going to take you to the top of that mountain. How do I know? I've taken that trail. You see all my clients here? They've taken that trail. That trail is going to take you where you want to go. And then not only is that the right trail, because obviously they have the proof to show, but like that puts a different energy in you because you're no longer coming in with the energy of, I hope this is the right trail. Now you have the energy of, man, it seems like they know that's the right trail. They're very confident that's the right trail. They say they've taken the trail before. They also have pictures at the top of the mountain. I think that's the right trail. Let me go with these people and see if it's the right trail. And then you take that trail. And then you realize, oh, I'm getting closer to the top of the mountain. This is definitely the right trail. That's motivation. That's the motivation most people want before even taking the right trail. That's the motivation most people want on New Year's, right? New year, new me. This is finally the year. I'm finally going to get in shape. This is it. And February comes around, they've given up. Why is that? Because they're trying to rely on motivation. Motivation is not reliable, guys. Motivation comes and goes. And when it's there, it helps and you should take advantage of it. But when it's not there, one thing that you can rely on is discipline. Because discipline is like a muscle. Discipline is something that if you train over and over, you become a disciplined person. What does a disciplined person do? They show up regardless of how they're feeling. What happens when you show up regardless of how you're feeling? You build consistency. What comes with consistency? Real long-lasting results. Because you start looking in the mirror and you're like, man, my abs are showing. I feel better, have more energy. People around me are complimenting me. This is the right trail. I'm on the right track. That's the real motivation that keeps you going. But even then, you're still going to have days where you don't feel like it. But because you've rewired the way that you operate and you're disciplined now, you're going to show up anyways. So I know that was a little bit of a tangent there. I just always love telling that because it relates so much to like what I was going through. And so hired a coach, and within 3 months or so, I started getting my first clients, which was crazy to me that within 3 months, I already had something up and running. And this was, I remember specifically, I got my first client on January of 2020. And the day of filming this, it is May 20th, 2025. So it was about 5 years ago. And the common question, what you guys are probably wondering is, okay, but why pilots? Why fitness? Like, this is so random, so different to what you were doing that, you were doing construction, you were doing floor plans. And me and my coach, we sat down, we were like, one, what are you good at? What can you help people with? Obviously, architecture came to mind, but also fitness came to mind because throughout high school and college, I worked for my aunt who owns a weight loss clinic. And I thought, I can probably help people get in shape. I can help people lose weight, build muscle. I know how to help people do that. And we were like, okay, cool. So let's go into fitness. Now, who are you going to help? Because I was in an office sitting all day around these people, complaining about their backs all day, complaining about sitting. I thought I could probably help office workers. And honestly, like at the start, I think fitness wasn't even the first thing I went for. I think I wanted to do like yoga and stretching and helping people like feel more loose. But then that kind of turned into fitness. And then we did some research. We really just randomly came across pilots. And we realized, man, pilots have very similar issues. It's a very sedentary job, have very unique issues, sleep schedules, time zone changes, hotel gyms, airport food, fatigue from flying, all these unique issues. And what I started to notice is nobody's helping pilots. Nobody is doing this for pilots. There's a lot of fit pilots with their meal prep packs in their workout videos, but there's no coaches out there. And I don't know if there might have been some other coaches out there at that time, but I didn't find any. 5 years in now, I've seen a couple coaches pop up here and there. I still think nobody's really doing it the way that Fit4Flight is doing it, but there's certainly a couple of pilot coaches out there now. But back then, there was nobody. And I thought, these people need help. I mean, clearly there's a need for this service. I thought, you know what? Like, these are the people that I want to help. I decided I'm going to focus on pilots. I'm going to help pilots get in shape. And I always heard from a lot of pilots tell me this, like, yeah, dude, I've worked with a coach before, I worked with a personal trainer. They just don't get it. They don't get the schedule. They don't get the lifestyle. And so they expect me to be able to follow like this plan that's based off like a 9 to 5er, when that's not me. That's not how I lived. I can't follow that. So I decided to really hyper focus on the pilot realm. Now, if you guys remember, this was 2020. This was right before COVID. COVID hits. And guess what happens, guys? Pilots start getting laid off. Pilots start feeling extremely uncertain. I'm reaching out to these pilots and I'm trying to connect. I'm trying to get clients. And everybody's telling me the same thing, dude. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if I'm going to keep my job. Some were already had lost their job. I got furloughed. I can't. So all this uncertainty in the industry. And obviously, naturally, I'm like, damn, do I really want to focus on pilots? Like, is this really the niche that I want to help? I stuck with it. You know, looking back at it, I could have changed niches instantly, because I was like, this isn't going to work out. But for some reason, I stuck with it. And I stuck with it long enough to actually start getting enough pilots on board and see how I was changing these people's lives. When people start telling you, dude, you changed my life, like, I'm a better person because of you. I have a better life now because of you. Like, that really starts to hit here. Like, that really starts to become something that's like really, truly fulfilling. Because I'll be honest with you guys, when I started my business, I wasn't really going into it because I was like, I want to help people. I want to change the world. To be fully transparent, I just wanted to make more money. I wanted to make more money. I wanted to live on my own terms, and I just kind of wanted to do my own thing. And I ended up changing mentors. The very first mentor that I worked with, which, by the way, love him. He's awesome. His name is Max Torno, and he was an extremely important piece to the puzzle and an extremely important piece to my journey. But there was kind of a disconnect because his program was very based on get the money, get as much money collected on the sales call, get the money, like collect as much money. Like, it was very money and sales oriented, which sales is super important skill to have, and that's awesome. But when you solely focus on getting as much money, then it kind of, there's a disconnect, right? When I joined with my new mentor, they started to make me realize that, hey, it's not about how much money you collect. Obviously, that's an important aspect of running a business, but it really is about the people. It's about how can you change this person's life? How can you let this person know that you hear them, you see them, you understand them, and you know what they're going through, and you know their struggles. And because I had already been helping pilots, I started to realize, oh yeah, that's what keeps them in the program. That's what allows them to see the value, is that I'm changing their lives. So because I didn't like the office job, I actually started looking for other jobs because my business was still kind of not, sustaining me. And I thought, well, I still need to make money, but I still want to run the business. And I started looking for different jobs. I don't remember exactly what year this was. I think it might have been 2022 or 2021. I got offered a different position. They would have doubled my salary. I went in that office and I just saw cubicles. And I was like, oh my God. I think I physically felt sick. I was like, I cannot, not a cubicle. I don't care how much you're paying me. I cannot sit in a cubicle. And I remember telling that to the lady when they called. They're like, hey, we want to offer you the position. And I'm like, I don't think I could take it. And she was like, is it the pay? Even though they doubled my salary. I was like, no, I can't sit in a cubicle. It's funny because I remember her almost being like flabbergasted. Like, what? Like, cubicles? Like, she had never heard that before. But I was like, I can't. I just can't sit in a cubicle for me. I know it's probably weird, but like, I can't do it. And this was right before I invested into my next program, which was about $10,000, which again, I was overextending myself, guys. I didn't have this money. It's crazy. Like, it just fell in place so perfectly. I turned down the position. I invest into this program where I don't really have the money for. 2 weeks after I turn down the position, I get laid off. And looking back at it, I don't think I actually got laid off. I think my boss started to notice that I wasn't really in it anymore. He was also kind of an asshole. He was kind of greedy, and I didn't like working for somebody like that. But I felt like he kind of started to feel like I was like detaching from the job. And so he probably found some reason. Hey, COVID, we got to lay off people. whatever. Okay, whatever. So I get laid off, and now I'm like, my business hasn't taken off. I just turned down this position that would have doubled my salary, and now I have no job. So what do? I apply for unemployment. So I start getting a little bit of money from that. And I said, okay, it's time to fully focus on the business. It's time to go all in. Now I have all the time in the world. I have this new mentor. I have this new program that I'm in, and they're teaching me, how to continue to grow my business. And I have no job. So I can just put all my time into this. It still took some time to get things going, guys, because again, I'm being fully transparent with you guys right now. Now I'm getting a check for not doing anything. So there was a part of me that wasn't still there. I was still kind of slacking. Once those unemployment checks stop, then it's time to really fucking hustle. Now it's like, okay, I really have to make some money. I gotta fucking survive. Like, how am I gonna pay the bills? And I remember specifically, that was in November. Unemployment checks had stopped in October. November comes, I can't pay the bill. When I tell you guys I was literally at zero, I literally had to go to my mom and be like, Mom, I can't pay rent. That was one of the hardest moments in my life, guys, because I was at my lowest. I was trying to build this thing and I was trying to pursue freedom, and I was in the complete opposite. I was broke. I had no money. I couldn't pay rent. I had to ask my mom for money, and that ate away at me. And in that moment, I said, this ain't it, Juan. I know I can do this. I've closed clients. I have clients. I've changed people's lives. So why is it that I'm not now making any money? And I knew it's because I'm slacking. You're using these unemployment checks as a reason to not really fully focus. But now that that's gone, and now that you've hit rock bottom, now there's no other option. So I fully went in. That January was the best month for my business. That year was the best month for I think that year I made 84,000. That was crazy to me. That year, like, everything changed because what I did differently was I sat down. I talked to I'm like, okay, let's write down the goals. Like, what is the goal? What is it that you're trying to achieve? And I wrote down the goals. And this is why it's so important, guys, that you have a clear vision. Because again, I've experienced this firsthand. When you have a clear vision, when you write down your goals, when you know exactly where you're going, then you can reverse engineer your way there. Okay, what do I need to do to hit this revenue for the month? What do I need to do to hit this revenue for the quarter? What do I need to do to lose 4 pounds by the end of the month? What do I need to do? Again, like, you can reverse engineer, but if you don't really know where you're going and you don't really know, you're just kind of blindly navigating, which was kind of like what I was doing. I'm just like, okay, let me just make enough to pay the bills. Let me just get at least 3 clients in this month. It wasn't clear. So I got really clear, and I hit a record month, and I hit a record year because I was making maybe like 50 or 40 a year before that. So that was kind of like a turning point for me. And then it just kind of took off, guys. And then, like, I saw my vision, and I was like, oh, I can do this. I know what I'm doing now. I've helped enough people now. By this point, I've worked with probably every type of pilot, cargo, airline, CFI students. So I knew what I was doing. I just wasn't like fully in it because, again, there was a part of me that was still slacking. But once the checks were gone and it was just fully on me, and I told myself, this is never going to happen. I'm never going to be at zero again. I'm never going to work a job again. Like, I'm going all in on this. The year after that, I make my first hire, Brandon. Shout out to Brandon. Still with me, absolute rock star of a teammate. I hired my assistant. I have a small team now, and it's been a journey, guys. Like, things didn't work out right away. It's definitely something that I had to build, and something that I had to realize throughout the journey, how to actually make it work. And then, now we're here, man. Like, crazy. I don't think I've told this story like such in depth before, but looking back at it, like, it was all a learning lesson at the end of the day, because I could have just given up. I could have just gone find another job, and that's true failure, guys. It's giving up. Everything that kind of seems like a failure, like my rock bottom, like, that wasn't a failure. That was a lesson in disguise. That's what really woke me up and lit a fire in me. It's because I believed in myself. I believed of what I was capable of. And so that's a massive lesson that you guys can also take from this, is like, your self-talk your belief in yourself, it plays a big role in anything that you do, in fitness specifically. Like, if you don't believe in yourself, if you don't commit to yourself, then nothing's going to change. You can do the workouts, you can track your macros, but if you don't believe of what you can achieve and you don't have a clear vision, again, nothing is going to change. So, like, again, have a clear vision, guys. Have a clear why. Know exactly where you're going. This is something that we make all our clients do, is like, why is this important? Where do you want to be? What's the vision for this? Like, where do you want to go? So have a clear vision, guys. So where do I want the company to go? Well, eventually, guys, I want to work with airlines. Like, I want to eventually go to a charter airline. Charter is where I have my sights set on right now. That may change. I used to want to do like flight schools and stuff, just because flight schools is cool and I'd love to help students. I just don't feel like that's something that a flight school would be willing to invest in based on the financial side of things. It's from the research that I did, at least. If you guys know a flight school that's like, yo, we would love a coach, let's talk, hit me up. But yeah, I eventually want to go to airlines and be like, give me all your pilots, let's get them all in shape. I really do feel like Fit4Flight has the potential to just completely take over the market, and that's my vision. And we will be the biggest fitness company in the aviation industry. And I know that because that's the reputation we're building, guys. We just made our debut at Oshkosh last year, and we were able to connect with a bunch of people. Pilots at airports are starting to recognize me. If you guys follow the content, I do a lot of pilot interviews, which is kind of like something that's been going really viral for us. We actually, in the past 30 days, we just hit 4.1 million views, which is mind-blowing to me, guys. 4.1 million people is crazy to me. But again, it's starting to be known, like Fit4Flight, we're getting out there, guys. And so that's really the vision I have for it, guys. Oh, and I forgot to leave out some of the best stuff in the story. So once the business really started taking off, I started to realize I'm financially free. I'm like, I'm not rich, I'm not super wealthy, but I'm like, I can buy stuff and not have to worry about how much it costs. And I remember the first Christmas where I actually had money specifically, I remember going all out and just buying my family so many presents. And it just, all the smiles that it puts on their faces, it was one of the most meaningful times in my life when I was able to finally just give and splurge on my family and not have to worry about it. And it feels so much good than receiving. It really does. Like, when you get a gift, it's cool and it's awesome and it makes you happy. But when you're actually able to just give, it feels so good. And I think that's a connection that I've also built with my business, is when I've been able to give a client a transformation, it feels so good to see somebody completely transform their lives and become the best version of themselves. And then I ended up buying my first car, like my first self-bought car. Yeah, because I had 2 cars before this, but my mom had really bought them for me. This was my first self-bought car, sports car, red GR86. And I remember the first time I got in that car, guys. It meant so much to me. It meant so much to me that I achieved this. Woo! I got I got a little emotional there. But it truly, like, when you achieve a goal like that, it means so much. It means so much. And I love that car. It's such a fun car to drive. But it's also the meaning behind it, of like, dude, Juan, when you set your mind to something, when you truly follow through with what you say you're gonna do, this is what's fucking possible. And then I moved to Miami. I was like, I need to be around winners, because in my mentorship, I'm around winners. I'm around a bunch of other coaches also running successful businesses. And I realized that when you're around that, it reshapes the way that you think. It reshapes the way that you operate. You know, as cliche as it is, you are the average of the 5 people that you're around. That's a true thing, guys. And I thought, that's why I need to go to Miami. And I've been living here. Damn, it's crazy to think. About 3 years now. I've been in Miami for 3 years. Actually, May marks 3 years in Miami. And I love it here. I love Miami. There's no place like Miami, guys. It's such a dope city. There's so much cool stuff. There's obviously like a big party scene. There's a lot of fake people, pretending to be. There's all of that, but it comes with any big city. But you can find like really, really cool people here in Miami, and it's just, the sun's always out. There's palm trees everywhere. You're next to the beach. I'm sure you guys as pilots know, when you're near the water, when you're near the ocean, it's healing. It's nice. It's just, God, it's such a vibe. It puts you in a good mood. And when you create an environment that helps you win and helps you become more, then there's no other option, guys. That goes for fitness as well. If you find people to work out with, if you find people that lift you up and make you better, you're going to be better. That's why we created a community within my Fit4Flight Academy, is because now we have a bunch of pilots sharing what's working for them. We're always celebrating you guys' wins. We're having monthly challenges, which just makes it a little bit competitive. And, we give prizes to our top competitors, and it just makes it fun, guys. So, yeah, that's my story, guys. That was cool to kind of sit here and just tell you guys the whole story. If you're wondering, again, like what exactly we provide, I have a custom app for my clients. It's a Fit4Flight app, and it's basically a visual representation of your entire journey. This is where you can see all your goals, fitness goals, general goals, nutritional goals. Everything's laid out for you visually for you to see. Also for us as coaches to make sure that we're seeing and we're following your progress. You have a calendar, you have a checklist. You're just checking things off. I know how much pilots love checklists. Imagine having an actual structured plan laid out for you where you don't even have to think about what you need to do because it's already laid out for you. You're just checking things off. You're just like, okay, I did the walking. Okay, I hit the workout. Okay, I hit the running. Boom. You don't have to think about it. Stuck in a crappy hotel gym? We always give our clients secondary plans so that whenever you're stuck in a crappy hotel gym, you have the option to just take the hotel, put it in there, still do the same workout, but it's just based on hotel gyms. We also have body weight. I had a client lose 40 pounds without ever stepping foot in the gym. You don't even need a gym, guys. If you have the proper plan and you know what to do, you can make it happen. But again, this is where the proper plan comes from. So we get the training aspect of it. Nutritional side of things, I don't give my clients any diets. You're not going to put you on some strict chicken and broccoli diet. No, like it's very flexible. It's more so like I give you guys templates of like things you should follow and things you should lean towards, and when you eat out, how you should eat out, how you should snack. We're going to give you the strategies and the education, because I know that with diets, it puts you in a restrictive mindset. But when you have restrictions, one thing about us humans is that when we're told we can't do something, we want to do it even more. So we don't restrict our clients. It's going to be a very flexible approach. I don't tell my clients, don't eat the burger, don't eat the pizza, don't drink the beer. Obviously, it's not what you want to be eating, but we help you create healthier habits. And when you create healthier habits and eat better and make better choices, you start to become more aware of how that makes your body feel. And then food is no longer just like temporary pleasure. Now food is fuel. So when you start to associate food as fuel, that's where you create a healthy relationship with food. And then making good choices becomes a lot easier. Making bad choices becomes a lot harder because now you have different associations with food. It's not that you can't have the burger and pizza here and there either. It's just that you have to understand how to find a balance and know when it's appropriate to indulge. So again, you get the nutritional aspect of things. You get access to our community. Like I mentioned earlier, it's all pilots, all on the same journey. You get monthly competitions. You have chances to win prizes. Just makes it a little bit more fun. But the main thing is you get a coach. You get access to me, guys. You get access to my team. We're going to be checking in with you. You're going to have calls personally with me where we're going to set goals. We're going to make sure that we know where we're going. Any challenges, any struggles that come along the journey, we're always going to have a chance to have a conversation about, and we're going to transform you. We're going to just change your life. That's what we do, guys. 5 years into this, I wouldn't change a thing. I love what I do. Fit4Flight will be the biggest aviation company in the world. Mark my words. Thank you guys for listening. If you made it all the way to the end, it's crazy because I know it's a long video, but this is my first long form video, so that was the purpose of it. Make sure that you subscribe, guys. Make sure that you like the post. It helps the algorithm. It helps us. Make sure that you follow me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, wherever it is. If you guys want to hear a little bit more about us, want more tips, again, I'm planning to do a little bit more YouTube stuff. Make sure that you follow us, and thank you guys for listening.